Yes, people, welcome back to another episode of LBINS. It's been a busy weekend, apparently. I was away, just chilling, having a nice little bit of time off because City weren't playing. And then, boom, my phone explodes. Not literally. And Twitter was going mad. People was in my DM saying, LB, you need to go live. You need to speak about this. What is going on? We're going to speak about all that in just a second. Guys, make sure you hit the like button if you've not done so already. Big up to Saeed for the redirect, man. We've got over 200 people in the building right now. Not even at 100 likes, so guys. So please hit that thumbs up button if you've not done so already. Make sure you subscribe. Subscribe to Nobbins. Link is in the description. Let's have a look who we've got in the building. We've got Balatubi. Yes. We've got MC Football. We've got Justin. We've got Oxen, Wilco, Mustafa Zay. Big up to Abdi, Sahin, Dash, Isaac. Big up to Dave, Soul, Jarhead, Itchy Goat Section, Rachel, Gabby. Jarhead again. Big up to Brand Holt. Man City, Sweden says no. Big up to Andy, Wayne, Osmodius, VTech, Brett. MCFC Lads is in the building. Big up to you. Big up to Carnivore. Big up to Ben L, Ram, Woofy, JTI, David, Pony, Daddy's Daddy, Nariman, Demooney, JTI. Big up to everyone in the chat, man. Hope you're all doing well. Please make sure you smash the like, Nobbins. How are we, Bray?
I'm doing good, man. Yeah, as you say, light news week. Nothing really happened. And we're out here to talk about it.
Yeah, no, it's a fascinating one. So just to clarify for people that have, I don't know, maybe had a social media detox over the weekend and are just logging in for the first time, Omar Berrada, a board member, a very, very sort of crucial piece to the Manchester City puzzle, has resigned, I believe with immediate effect, actually, and is believed to be taking up the position as CEO at Manchester United. So a massive promotion. There's a lot that we can speak about. And by the way, guys, get me all your thoughts on this on the comment section. I want to see different opinions on this. Make sure you have a vote in the live poll. There's been a lot of different views, very contrasting opinions, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on this in just a second. But you've got some opinions of the guy's an absolute snake. He's been a part of this Manchester City project for a decade, and while some people recognise that a promotion is a promotion, could you have waited and gone to a different club rather than our nearest rivals, Manchester United? You've got other people that are a little bit more blasé about the whole thing of just saying, well, you know, he's a corporate executive. He's not a player. He's not a manager. He's getting a big promotion. I assume with that, a big pay rise. City obviously couldn't promote him because we've already got a CEO. What will be. Allow it. It's not that deep. And then maybe you've just got a couple of people who just don't really care. I'll give you my opinion on it, but first, Nobbins, what's your sort of take on this? Was you surprised by this news, and sort of where do you sit on the whole sort of fence of, is this a snaky thing? Do you not that really asked? What's your take on it?
I think of those camps you described, I think I sort of place myself in like the last one of I don't really care. I'm not gonna come here and pretend that I heard of Omar Berrada before the announcement. I'm sorry if that's me being ignorant. I don't know if anyone else had LB. I don't know if you had heard of him before. As I say, maybe that's just me being ignorant. I'd never personally heard of him. I don't mind he's going to United, to be honest. It's a very good appointment by Man United, obviously. I think what I'm more interested in, I'm sure we will discuss, is the fact that for me, it basically, in viewing it through the lens of the whole, Man City alleged charges situation, it tells me that United are pretty confident that City aren't going to be found guilty of this. Otherwise, it would be a pretty embarrassing move to hire as your CEO, the big man in charge, someone who has been involved in if it's proven to be the case, one of the biggest conspiracies, etc., in English football history. So that's my sort of take on it. I'm more interested in that side of it rather than the whole, is he a bad person, is he a snake, or whatever for going. I don't know what your thoughts are on that. Do you feel the opposite?
Well, a little bit, because he was a big player. He was a big player. Okay,
I don't doubt that at all. Yeah, sure.
He wasn't maybe at the level of maybe a Ferran or whatever, but the guy was a big player. He was well known by a lot of City fans. He was in a lot of the social media stuff. I think he was in the All or Nothing documentary. He's quite a big person in the community, and he's been there for a long time. Been there for a decade now. So I think this is again why some people who who are saying he's a snake have come to this sort of position because he has been there a long time. He's meant to be part of the City City furniture, as you like, and he's just gone and took the job at your nearest rivals, not your biggest football rivals right now, because of course United are way off. But in terms of nearest rivals, it's a lot of people are disappointed by that. Now, I'm disappointed he's took the move. I'm disappointed he's took the move because, like I say, he's part of he's part of what's built this club to where it's been right now, and he's a very important player. And I'm disappointed he's took that move. Do I understand why he's taken it? Yes, because as I said, he's taken the CEO job of one of the, if not the biggest club in the world in Manchester United. And I understand, obviously, like I said earlier, he's obviously going to get a big pay rise to go along with that as well. So personally, he's obviously, I understand why he took it. But I also feel that he would have been very respected across the footballing sort of landscape. And there probably would have been I don't know for sure, but there probably would have been an opportunity for him to take a big job at another football club. There's a couple of things that we can spin this now. So, yes, I do think he's kind of snaked us a little bit, to be honest with you. But I'm not out there saying he's an absolute snake, all this kind of stuff. I do think he snakes us a little bit. However, if I then switch the conversation around a little bit, and obviously you've come onto the FFP straight away. You didn't even know foreplay there. You just went straight in. But
I was around.
Yeah, I also look at does this tell me something about the future of Varane? Tiki, about maybe how long they're going to be, because I don't know about you, but in the last sort of 12 months, there's been a bit of talk about how long are these guys going to stay around? How long is Varane going to stay around? How long is Tiki going to stay around? And we heard a few rumours that when Pep goes, them two are going to go as well. Well, if that's the case, surely he would be in line for a promotion at Manchester City. And why would he not wait there unless it's just such an attractive position to take at Manchester United, which maybe it is. I don't know. So yeah, there's different things that we can take from this, aside from the fact of is he a snake or is he not a snake? That's a personal opinion that you guys can have, that we have. I think he's a bit snaky personally, but I understand why he's took the job. Once I've spoke about that, I then start to look at the FFP things, which I think I want to speak about it in depth, because I think that's very interesting. But also the fact of how long are we going to keep Varane and Tiki at the club? Because surely to God, they've had these conversations before. And if I don't know for certain, but if there was any sort of rumors within the board, and I'm sure when you're operating a business at that sort of level, you have these regular conversations about how long I don't know. So I don't know, the CEO of Barclays Bank, right? I imagine that they will have like sort of regular conversations at their board meetings about how things are going, so that one day the guy doesn't walk in, or the woman, I don't know who it is, the person doesn't just walk into the board meeting of one of the biggest banks in the world and just says, right, lads, I'm off. I'm pretty sure they have regular conversations. So if they have those regular conversations, which I don't know if they do, but I imagine that you probably would do at any sort of big business, surely if there was them sort of conversations happening where Varane was saying, yeah, I probably got another year or two in me and then I'm off, boys, and maybe Tiki was saying the same thing, then surely Omar would be sitting there going, I'm in line. And we know that I think City would like to keep those sort of jobs in-house rather than bringing people outside. Maybe bring people in from the CFG, but typically inside the sort of group. So he would be in line. So I take from that there's a good chance that Varane and Tiki are going to stay here longer than maybe people think. And of course, we also then need to speak about the FFP situation. But you don't really see it as the whole snake thing, because I did a poll in the chat. 55% of people are calling him a snake. 45% of people are saying, no, he got a promotion, fair game. So it's very split on the whole snake thing.
Yeah. It's as I say, for me, it's not that big of a deal. People can disagree. That's absolutely fine. I agree with what you said, that you would, because if the stories are to be believed, like he allegedly agonized over the decision to leave. So you would assume that in an ideal world he would have wanted to stay at City, but if there's someone who's very good at their job and they want a promotion, but they can't get promoted unless that person leaves, then the only option is to either stay or look elsewhere for that promotion that you want. So as you say, I think that does probably indicate that, that the people who are higher up than Omar at City, i.e., the CEO, Fran Soriano, etc., you would assume that they're going to be here for even longer, as you said, because if there was a conversation and Fran was like, oh yeah, I'll be out of here in 2 or 3 years, you would think that Omar, given the fact that he agonized over leaving City, would go, oh, well, I'll just stick around, wait it out, and I'm going to get my promised role of CEO. But, you know, you can draw the lines, you can make the inferences, and you can go, well, the conversation has probably gone, actually, mate, I'm going to be here for a hot minute. I'm not planning on leaving anytime soon. I can't give you a date of when I'm going to leave because I don't know. It might be, you know, 5-10 years, in which he's gone, so there is no, as much as I love it here, there is no room for progression. So I'm going to go to the next step in terms of, like, getting promoted in my career. So yeah, I agree with you that you would assume, based on joining, connecting the dots, that would have been the conversation that was had. And again, you can look at it as a bad thing. You know, we're losing someone who's apparently like a really important member of our upper structure or whatever. Or you can look on the bright side of, well, it tells us that Soriano is going to stay here for a bit longer. Maybe that means Pep's going to stay here for a bit longer. And also the FFP thing, which I think we're about to get into in a bit more detail now.
Yeah. For the United fans in the chat, because I do know there's a lot of United fans who are obviously interested in what this means, because obviously this is a huge deal for Man United, of course, with
It's a good appointment for them.
Yeah, no, I agree, and for the United fans that are in the chat that want to know, like, I think you've got yourself a very, very capable guy in charge. There's an interesting super chat here from Dave. Says, fair play to him. It's a role step up. However, he won't have the people around him at the shit show like he does with City. Also, if he went anywhere else, it wouldn't have been mentioned like it has. Yeah, no, that second part is fair. I mean, fair. Sorry. The thing for United fans is, as Dave says, as good as Omar might be, will he be able to implement the things he wants to with everything that's going on at that club? Now, I've said myself personally, I think actually this Jim Ratcliffe thing is going to help United. I think they'll get better, but it's going to take time. And United fans are going to have to give this guy time. They're going to have to give the new ownership time to implement exactly what they want to implement. But make no mistake about it, I think for United fans, as good as I am to say it, this is probably a step in the right direction for you. And I think for City fans, we should be very not proud of him going there, but proud of what we've become, where
everyone wants our staff.
Little old City, yeah. Man United are taking us as chief operating officer or chief footballing officer, whatever he is, and promoting him to their CEO. I think we have to look at our own club and go, we are very, very well run, and we have great people at the leadership positions. We do, you know what I mean? Because United wouldn't take this guy and promote him to CEO. United are one of the biggest clubs in the world. You know what I mean? They wouldn't do this if he's not a good guy. So I think for ourselves, whilst it's disappointing to lose good people, of course it is. And by the way, brace yourself for more, because he's going to probably take a few people from City. That's no doubt, in my opinion. I think that says a lot about Manchester City, of how good our infrastructure is. And you need a good infrastructure to have a good football club, because it sustains the club. So disappointing to lose him. United, I think you've got a good guy. It's going to take time for him to implement his stuff. And for City fans, be prepared for more people to leave, because people always take people who they know, don't they, with him. So that's 100% going to happen. Chicken Wing says, United fans defended him from 115 charges if City's found guilty like crazy. 14 years at City, then goes to United. It's a big anaconda, if you ask me.
The snake isn't an anaconda. He specified.
Exactly. So Chicken Wing's gone full in on the snake. Let's speak about that then, the 115, because I think one thing that I would say from United fans is, there's a bit of delusion going on here. Because I feel like you want to have your cake and eat it.
Exactly.
You want City to be guilty of the 115, which who knows what's going to happen. We'll wait for the outcome on that one. I keep on saying, I don't know if we're guilty or innocent. I'll let the commission decide. But you can't just sit there and say you're 100% guilty, and then one of our board members, one of our most influential people at the football club, who's been there over a decade, go, oh, but he had absolutely nothing to do with it. He didn't know what was going on. You can't say that, man. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's. I even saw some United fans trying to suggest that he's the sole reason why Girona are doing so well this year as well. It's like you can't just pick and choose the bits that you like and go, oh yeah, he did that. What about this shady bit? Nah, nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that. Yeah, and there was I think there was an article in the Times, was there, and there was just a 1-paragraph thing which was blown up into this massive thing. The paragraph says something like, it is understood, or it is believed, that he had no involvement in the sponsorship things that led to the 115 charges against Man City. Now, this guy was, a commercial director at Man City, and he will have had his hands all over loads of the sponsorship deals and the commercial arrangements, and specifically, people talk about the Haaland, because I've read articles about it since, the Haaland contracts. Again, I'm sure these same people were saying that that was all under the table and that we're actually paying him, £50 million a second. But now that he's gone over there, yeah, it's like, oh no, it's all rosy. It's actually really good. It is a weird world of delusion, and the irony is just so funny to like on the one hand, praise the poaching of this figure who was so heavily involved in City's success, but whilst at the same time labeling City as cheats, when the person who's going to be their new CEO would have been heavily involved in that. Again, it's you can't have, as you quite rightly said, you can't have your cake and eat it. This is a zero-sum game, and it's one or the other. It's either City are guilty, in which case your new CEO, your new big boy, is also heavily involved in that fraud, in which case that will lead to him no doubt resigning or being sacked because he'll be involved in like one of the biggest conspiracies in English football history, or he didn't do anything wrong, and then as a consequence, City didn't do anything wrong. You can't have it both ways, and that's why, again, unless Ineos are incompetent, in my opinion, that tells us that City will not be found guilty. If you think Ineos are competent, then you therefore don't think they will have hired someone as their CEO who would have been involved in all of this. So as I say, you can't have it one way or the other. If you think Ineos are incompetent and they would hire someone who was involved in all of this, then that's a totally different story. United have made seemingly correct decisions in the past and it's blown up in their face. So maybe it is one of those situations where it will come back to embarrass them in the future. But the chances are, again, if we're to assume Ineos are a competent organisation, you would assume they haven't hired someone who would have been at the hub of these allegations that have come City's way.
Yeah, and let's just be honest, right? All the big clubs, maybe all the clubs in the Premier League, but all the big clubs in the Premier League know exactly what evidence the Premier League have or what not evidence the Premier League have in these charges. 100%. You know what I mean? They know what's going on because, of course, the charges are brought by the Premier League, and the Premier League is the clubs. They are the members of the league. So, Simon Bajovsky, by the way, chief Manchester City writer at the Manchester Evening News, said it is correct to say that United are getting Omar Berrada from City is a big coup for them. As it is to say Berrada is firmly implicated in City's alleged wrongdoing. So,
of course,
I mean, again, listen, I think I'm with you. I think this for me is a good, not good look for City in terms of losing.
It's a good indicator of our.
It's potentially a good indicator. It's a potentially good indicator that surely Man United have not hired this guy, because if City do get found 115, which effectively means we've been fraudulent, because that's effectively what it's all about. It's how we've fraudulently, misrepresented our income and therefore accounts. And this guy is part of that. Then they'd have to fire him. Now, that's not a great start to the Ineos ownership campaign, that the CEO you hire, you have to fire potentially within 18 months, because he's not going to start until the summer anyway. And we're probably going to get the decision by the end of next season. So you might have to fire within a year of appointment. That's not a great look for them. So I agree. I think, and again, it might be copium. Who knows? It might just be us looking through, blue tinted glasses. I don't know. But it looks to me like this is a potentially good sign that surely this, they're not going to hire a guy who's firmly indicated.
Unless they're grossly incompetent.
Bro, are you dumb, Carnival? Why would you need to fire him? Are you being serious?
Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, bro, if we get found guilty of fraud and misrepresenting our sponsorship deals and accounts, all our board members are implicated in that. He's the CEO of Man United. He can't stay. I thought that was clearly obvious, bro.
Oh, apparently not. Seemingly not. Apparently, you can get away with being, one of the key players in the biggest conspiracy in English football history and just have no consequences.
It's a criminal. It's a criminal offence, bro, to misrepresent your accounts under the Companies House Act or whatever the fuck it's called. You're not allowed to do it. So it'd be, all these people who are implicated in this, but potentially get criminal charges if they've filed incorrect accounts. You know what I mean? So I don't see why that's. I'm not 100% sure. Lee says, "Hey LB, what would happen if City get found guilty?" And he claims plausible deniability. You're the lawyer.
He was the commercial director and he was head of partnership sales, and what was he? The COFO, the chief operating officer, whatever it was. There is no reality in which that he could claim or suggest that he wasn't involved, because his fingerprints would have been all over everything. Like, go to his LinkedIn profile and see exactly what his what his official job titles were. He's and like people, I've seen some people say, oh, but he's only been in the club recently. He's been in the club for like 13 years. It's since like 2011. So he would have been involved in literally all of this. So
head of international business development, international director of partnership and sales, senior vice president, group commercial director, chief operating officer as well. And by the way, all of these were in the time that the alleged things have happened. So
yeah, and like if you go to his because I've just like got his LinkedIn profile up. If you go to like his like bio, it says that he was, a proven track record in negotiating with global brand companies, having delivered multi-million-pound sponsorship and media-related contracts for Barcelona and Manchester City. So it's literally just go to his LinkedIn bio, and you can see like how silly it is to suggest that he wasn't involved in any way. As I say, it's just a really weird mental gymnastics from these. I'm not saying
because they want to have the cake and eat it,
and that's what I mean. Yeah, I'm not saying it's all United fans by any means at all. I'm the United fans I know in real life are very sensible, intelligent people. I'm talking about the specific people, who I see on Twitter who are, as I say, trying to claim all the good stuff, but on one hand go, he wasn't involved in any of that though. Nah. Even though he was commercial director, it didn't have anything to do with the commercial aspect of the. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Now, apparently the decision made by Omar and Manchester City was an amicable decision. So City were not. Well, I guess the what we get told and what actually happens behind the scenes maybe is two different things. Maybe City are very, very disappointed and very upset about this. I don't know, but the reports coming out that this is a very amicable thing, and obviously you said before that apparently Omar, it took a long time to make this decision. He's not allowed to join Manchester United until the summer. Now, of course, obviously, you're probably working from home and doing some stuff to start implementing it. I'm absolutely sure, but apparently, it wasn't a massively bad split. It was an amicable leaving. And listen,
it's
United,
just a case of he wanted a new role. He wanted a better role. I'm sure with better money. And I don't think he's a Man City fan as far as I'm aware. So obviously he'll have a commitment in a way, an affection for the club. I assume because he's worked here for 13 years. But at the end of the day, he isn't a City fan, and he doesn't really have. He doesn't have to have loyalty. Do you know what I mean? That might sound like a weird thing to say, but I know people say it's a snake and stuff, but clearly there's not been a big battles in the boardroom. They're all still friends. He just wanted a different challenge, a different opportunity, a better opportunity from a role perspective, and obviously you'd assume a high wage as well, a higher wage as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, there's a couple of names that have already been suggested. What's that De Vries guy called? Roel De Vries, who is the City Football Group operating officer, but he's viewed as a long-term successor to the Manchester City CEO Ferran Soriano. I've not actually seen any sort of reports about who might replace this guy. I was listening to 9320 pod this morning. Asan said he reckons Brian Marwood potentially might be up there, but obviously we need to replace him, and it'll be interesting to see who does replace him, because like I say, he was a big part. I think he did quite a lot of everything, really. You know what I mean? There's a video of him sitting down with Tiki talking about transfers. Very interesting video. Speaking about players getting into that sort of like the last year of the contract and how risky that is, and speaking about the fact that I think he's very up on his finances as well, because he was very, very much on the fact that, because Tiki said in the video, it's mad how like everyone thinks we've got the highest wages. However, we're actually fourth in Europe for the wages. Man United, Barcelona, and someone else was higher than us. Yet we keep winning all the trophies. And then the first thing that Omar said was, but with trophies comes players demanding more money. And you have to say, what he said in that? He says you have to say no. You have to be firm and say no to that. So we're going to have to replace him with someone that's very sort of they've got multi skills. They can do a lot of everything. They know the football side, they know the finance side, and obviously he does. Obviously, that's why he's got the Man United job, because he's very sort of versatile in that. But yeah, listen, it's disappointing. It is what it is. Is he a snake? Yeah, probably, in my opinion. Am I going to start tweeting that he's a snake? Nah, probably not, unless he starts robbing all our staff, which he might do, by the way. I'm telling you to be prepared, because if I was him, I'd go back to City and start snaking it out and try to get people in, because you want good people around you. And obviously he knows the people at Manchester City. He'll try and do that. So it will now be very interesting to see how City can do in terms of retaining our staff, because there's going to be a poaching going on here. 100% they're going to try and get some of our staff, and City have to deal with that. Do we let them go and just be like, no, you're either here and you're loyal to us, or you go? Well, United are going to offer them more money. That's what they'll have to do. So it's going to be interesting to see. We could be in for a rough 12 months in terms of staff potentially going out, but let's see what City do. There's no need to sort of not trust that our board can't get us through this. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure that we're well prepared for this. And again, I don't know, right? But again, for me, a proper good business would have sort of plans in place for this. Do you know that, again, like if I ran that, it's just going back to Barclays, yeah? If I ran the Barclays Bank and I was CEO of Barclays Bank, I would have like a list of key people in the business and say, right, if they leave tomorrow, right, what we're doing, what is going to happen?
Yeah.
So I would like, again, I don't know, man. I never run a bank, innit? But I guess that is just like a reasonable thing to assume, bro.
You'd assume so, yeah. And it's also not like he did this, he announced that, 3 days ago out of the blue, that there would have been like a build-up of conversations and discussions which would have been had. So, like the top people at City would have known this was coming for a sustained and decent period of time in which they could, have a plan when it did eventually come out. Look, he wasn't, again, I'm sure he was very important for Man City, etc. But he is just one man. Like, we have a lot of very important people at City. And conversely to United, I do think it's a very good appointment. But again, he's not going to be transformative on his own. He's, in the same way at City, he would have been surrounded by very competent people like him. He's also going to need to be surrounded by other very competent people. You can't steer a ship if the hull is missing. So you need to surround him with other people. So again, I think from a United perspective, it's a good step in the right direction, but obviously more intelligent appointments like this need to come for United to be transformed to the extent they want to be.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Big up Chicken Wing again says, I believe the bag is so big he can't refuse it. Well, of course. I mean, he's gone from CEO to CEO of one of the biggest clubs in the world. Yeah, you're absolutely right. The salary is going to be a massive increase, 100%. And listen, people chat on that, yeah, but I'm telling you, right, I'm telling all you guys in the chat, right, if you was offered a different job, right, with I don't know, double the wage or triple the wage or whatever it might be, 99% of you are taking it, yeah. So at the end of the day, is he snaked us? Yeah, I'm going to call him a snake, but I can understand why he's took it, and I think if you say you can't, you can call him a snake, but you also got to say you can understand why he's taking it. There's clearly, as Nobbin said before, there's clearly no route or a very, very delayed route into a bigger position that he wants to take, which is clearly CEO. He's been offered one at one of the biggest clubs in the world. He's going to get a big pay rise. It is what it is. Right, yeah. Anything else you want to speak on that, bro, before we go to sort of some transfer news, or anything you guys in the chat want to speak about this? You got any questions on this? No, let us know in the chat. But yeah, anything else on this one, bro? There's a lot of people sort of reacting to this. A lot of people are not happy with it, which you could understand. But I just think it is what it is. Call him a snake. Let's move on. It is what it is.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like I remember I was like streaming at the time, and I'd let United fans come into my chat and go, this Omar guy, tell me more about him. So I was like, guys, I don't know anything, to be honest. So I'm a little bit surprised at how much it's blown up as a news story from not so much from sort of like people who understand what it means, more so just from I guess Twitter is Twitter, isn't it? And people are always going to do a one-upmanship thing. But there was just like Omar's like either his LinkedIn profile or his Instagram or Twitter or something. Like people flexing, oh, look how many followers he's got after the announcement. Oh, I was thinking, like, guys, why are you celebrating the Twitter followers from a board member? I just thought that was really weird. But yeah, I don't have anything else to add.
Okay. Fairs. Yeah, it is what it is, guys. He's left, and yeah, we move now. Let's see what the club have got in store. Like I say, I've got 100% faith that Karl, Ferran, Tiki, and the rest
Oh
of the
yeah,
guys know what they're doing, man.
yeah.
I'm not for 1 minute sitting here thinking, oh, club's finished. You know what I mean? It is what it
No,
is.
yeah,
So,
definitely, yeah.
and again,
Sorry, go on.
sorry. Yeah, I was just gonna say it again. There's two positives that you can take from this. One, I think for me personally, I think this is a decent look at potentially the FFP, because if we are guilty, why would United hire him? Because for me, that is his fingerprints are all over that. The chief football reporter at MEN, yeah, who reports on Man City's confirmed this, right? So I don't want to know all these guys who think they know what they're talking about. Yeah, we've got someone whose job it is, a journalist who knows what his job was, and it's in his bio on in LinkedIn that he dealt with sponsorships. So I think that's pretty good. And again, the fact is, we have good people at our football club. So much so that Man United have took someone and promoted him in their own organisations for our football club. So again, I think that speaks wonders about our board structure. I think that we should be really, really sort of proud about what these owners and what the board have managed to build. And yes, be disappointed, but you know, we're a fantastically run football club. Sorry, bro, what was you going to say?
Well, I was going to ask, had you heard of Omar
Yeah, bro,
beforehand?
he's a big deal. Yeah, 100%. I'm quite surprised that you've not heard of him. He's in the All or Nothing documentaries. He's in some big clips in terms of talking transfers. He's one of the big dogs, man. He's
No,
basically
fair.
next. Yeah, he's one of the next.
It's just because like whenever I watch those interviews with Cat Caldoon etc. The names he always brings up are obviously Sheikh Mansour, obviously himself, Tiki, and Ferran. He doesn't seem to be, again, this is me as like clearly very uninformed and ignorant on it. He doesn't seem to be
No,
mentioned in
he's
the
the next one
same
down. Yeah,
breath as those,
because he's
and maybe
not.
that's what it
He's not
is.
mentioned in the same breath because he's not in the same breath. He's one below them, but he's
Sure.
very
And
influential.
that's what I was going to say. If it was one of those lads who we were losing, Ferran, Tiki, Caldoon, whoever, then I would be genuinely concerned and upset, to be honest. But so maybe that's why I'm personally not that concerned about it. Again, that's clearly just my own ignorance there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, guys, if you're watching this back on the replay, please let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Guys, make sure you smash the like, by the way, man. What likes we on? Over 450 people tuned in. We've not even got 150 likes, man. I don't know what's going on with you guys this morning. Please hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you subscribe to LBINS, link in the description as well. There's been a bit of transfer news coming out in terms of outgoings. Calvin Phillips looks like he's on the way to West Ham. News broke earlier on. Calvin Phillips will complete his loan switch to West Ham from Man City shortly. West Ham will pay his wages. It sounds like they're going to pay his full wages as well, which is good, and a bonus. There's no deal in place to make a move permanent, so no obligation to buy. There's also a bit of information here about Liverpool. Man City were willing to loan Liverpool last summer amid interest from Liverpool, amongst others, when the loan fee was believed to be around 10 million quid. But of course, either no one paid that, or I think LBINS kind of wanted. Not LBINS.
What did I want?
Maybe you could do a job at CDM. Who knows? But Calvin Phillips obviously wanted one last crack at the whip. So he's gone. We're not going to replace him, bro. Thoughts on that? Thoughts on Manchester City not replacing Phillips? Happy? Think we should replace him?
We should replace him in the summer, but as I've discussed before, and
What now then? You don't replace him now?
I don't think the play unless Gundogan wants to come back. I don't think the player is going to be available right now. Hey, if the player's available and there right now, then sure, go for it. But I just don't know whether that's going to be feasible for the sort of player that we would want. I've discussed before, I don't want a like-for-like Calvin Phillips replacement. I don't want a 6. Again, I think you agree with me on this. What I want is... is that it? That's pocket money. That's pocket money for 115 FC. Come on. There you go. What we need is a Gundogan replacement. We need an 8 who can easily fill in at 6. That's exactly what Gundogan was. And then you avoid the issue which we've had with Phillips of he's never going to play. If he can only be a 6, he will never play because
unless you're a world class 6.
Unless you're better than Rodri, and there is no defensive midfielder better than Rodri, it's just not happening. You're never going to usurp him from his current position. So you've got, even when we had Fernandinho, we didn't have a backup six. Fernando had gone. Again, it was Gundogan who did that. So we need someone who could do it. I think again, it's the same name that's brought up a lot of the time. That's why we were very interested in Paquetá, because he can quite easily fill in that position in Rodri's absence, I think. So that's the player we need. I don't know if I don't actually know specifically outside Paquetá who City are looking at or who would be a potential, but I don't think that player is going to exist in the January transfer window, and it's already late in Jan. As far as I'm aware, we're not really linked to anyone. So yeah, Phillips is going to go, and we're not going to replace him. Let's be honest.
The only
not
players
in the winter.
The only players we were linked with is Andre, who I don't think he's good enough for City, and Kimmich, who looks like it's going to be a summer transfer if he's going to leave at all. So yeah, I think we should replace him. I don't know who with. I'd go balls out for Kimmich, but I don't think we're going to get him. So that it is what it is. We'll just have to hope that Rodri stays fit. And if he does get suspended, well, he's going to get suspended / injured, that Kovacic or someone can do a job. What have you made of this bit of news? And there's some more news on this again. I'm going to bring this up out in a second. But Man City are planning to sign Girona loanee Savio at the end of the season and could give him the chance to impress in pre-season. Sources suggest Manchester City's thinking is that even if Savio doesn't quite make the grade, he could earn a significant profit in the future. Savio currently, obviously at Girona, doing very, very well. He's been linked heavily with Manchester City. A lot of City fans who are following the Girona story are very interested in him and want City to pull the trigger on him. Do you think that is something that City will go for? Do you think you want him at City as well, or what's your thoughts on Savio?
Sorry, so who does he play for? So I know he's on loan.
Troyes, I think.
Oh, okay, right, okay, interesting.
I think he's Troyes.
Has he been primarily playing on the right this season? Is that right? Is that correct?
Whenever I've watched him, he's been playing on the left, but I think he can play both.
Right. Oh, okay. So he's a two-sided winger.
Yeah, he's a two-sided. But whenever I've watched Girona, which is only 2 or 3 times, he has played on the left. Yeah, I've got it up here. Stats. Yeah, left wing, bro. He's played left wing all season.
Fairs. But in theory, he's both-sided. Yeah. I mean, why not? Again, I don't claim to watch Girona, so I don't want to speak, on Savio as if I know what sort of player he is. All I can really say is what people have told me about him. He does pop up, analysis of him does pop up a lot on my timeline. And yeah, those people have been excited at the prospect of him signing for us. He's very young, obviously. We do need more options out wide. We do need both-sided, preferably both-footed wingers. And as you pointed out, even if he doesn't make it at City, he's going to be pretty in demand regardless. So it's sort of like a win-win in that sense of, well, he either stays and makes it, or we sign him and then no doubt probably actually make some profit on the sale. But yeah, I'm all up for signing exciting, young, two-sided wingers. That's exactly what I think we need. That's why I've been banging the drum of Nico Williams for the past however many months. We need that sort of mould of player to, because as it stands realistically, Doku's the only winger at the club who is, both-sided, I think that's fair to say. And if we sign another winger, it will hopefully indicate that Pep is even more, focused on the idea of Foden playing as a more central player rather than being out wide. So yeah, I'd love it, to be honest, based on all that.
That's his stats on screen right now. Goals and assists per minute. So if you like the stats, guys, there's 139 minutes per goal or an assist, which is very, very good for a winger. And I think he's still, I hate this sort of phrase, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think he's a very raw style player. Whenever I watched him, it looks to me like he needs a little bit of refining. I think Pep Guardiola would almost be the perfect type of manager to do that. And yeah, rumor has it that you're going to be able to get him on the cheap because obviously he's at Troyes. I don't know how much money he's going to cost. Transfermarkt's got an estimated value of 30 million euros.
Does it say when his contract expires?
Well, he signed for. Let me have a look. It's signed for Troyes in when did he sign for Troyes? In 2022. Okay. I don't know how you find out the contract because he's on loan. The contract just tells you his loan contract. So I'm not sure, but apparently
maybe another 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, maybe it's going to be another 2 or 3 years. But the rumor has it you're going to be able to get him for 30 million quid. So this is what obviously the tweet was saying there, that even City think it's like a good risk to reward because you could get him in And there's a good chance that he could either be, one, good enough to be a squad rotational player, which is good news. Two, there's a chance that he could make it to be a first team player. But three, even if he doesn't quite make the grade, which is effectively what the tweet said, we think we're going to be able to make a significant profit because we think he's good. Just maybe, is he? The question is he good enough to play for treble winners, Champions League winning side, or is it like a tier below? So that's the big question there. Another one as well, bro. Jan Kuto. I tell you what, yeah, this is picking up pace. Now, Jan Kuto, as I believe, chat, correct me if I'm wrong, is an actual Manchester City player on loan at Girona. That is my understanding of the situation. So there'd be no fee here. However, Real Madrid have now put Jan Kuto right back on their list of transfers. This is coming from Marca. This guy, bro, attacking. Wow. I tell you what, mate, I don't think I've seen a better attacking full. Like, obviously, Trent's a different type of attacking fullback. Yeah. Trent's like more sort of modern style. Yeah. This guy, old school, get the ball down the wing, get crosses into the box. His attacking down the wing, mate, honestly, it's I don't know how much you've seen of him, but it is a joke. It is an absolute joke. The Brazilians are saying he's like the reincarnation of like Cafu, Roberto Carlos, like these type of guys. He is absolutely like, bro, if you compare his crossing abilities to sort of like Walker's, mate, it's night and day. It's absolutely unreal. Now, there is a little bit of, what would you say, doubt in my mind about whether he'd work in the Prem. He's not the tallest of guys. Yeah, I don't know if someone in the chat can let us know how big he is. But also, you know, defensively, physicality-wise, would he work in the Premier League? Now, my sort of argument to that would be, we have a 60 to 70% possession in most games, right? Against Crystal Palace at home, it would have been perfectly fine. We dominated the ball, and we probably, if he's in the team, who knows, we might even get 3-4 goals because he could get the assist, so it would actually kill the game off. The question mark would be, could he play at Manchester City in the tough games? Liverpool, United, Arsenal, Champions League against Madrid, Juve. Who knows? Who knows? But my point to that would be, is it's almost flipped to Walker. You know what I mean? Walker, do you really need Walker playing against Crystal Palace at home? Well, probably not. You know what I mean? You need him playing in the big game. You need him playing against Real Madrid's, Vinny's, Mbappe's, Paris Saint-Germain. So this is an interesting one, bro, because my understanding is that he's actually our player, which a lot of people in the chat are saying I am right on that. Thoughts on Jan Kuto? I mean, like I say, it's an interesting one, and attacking-wise, he's extremely good.
Yeah, again, I'm not going to claim to have watched him regulate Girona, but based on what you've just said about him there, I think in order for him to be a City player, he would either have to adapt as a player massively, or we would have to totally change how we've been playing football for the past two years, because we don't really play with traditional fullbacks anymore, do we? We've seen like the 4 centre halves at the back situation. I'm not personally a massive fan of when we use wing backs like we did against Newcastle, where Gvardiol and Walker basically plays left winger.
Can I ask you a question on that? Is that because of the personnel, or is it just because you don't like the system? Because if you think about it, Gvardiol's a centre back playing left back, and you got Walker, as good as he is as a defender, he's not a good attacking. So my question is, if you replace them two with actual proper fullbacks, do you think your opinion could change on that?
Maybe. I still don't like it in general from a system perspective, because I really don't like when my defenders are playing as wingers, basically, because it means if you lose the ball, and City are the weakest when they lose the ball, on the counter-attack, it means that obviously your fullbacks are very high and wide, so it means that in terms of like the space that they're leaving behind them, there's chasms of space for other people to, opposition players to run into. That's why I don't like it when Walker's played, as in addition to Walker just not being good on the ball. That's also why I don't like Walker at right wing, because when he is there, if we lose it, there's just so much space down our right-hand side. It could work. I'm not saying it can't work, because obviously, wing back systems do work to very good effect. I would just be dubious about. This is why I don't want Frimpong, for example. Lots of people saying, we should get Frimpong as to play in the Walker role. I don't think the Walker role exists. I think that's a false dawn. I don't like the idea of the Walker role. Right back, right wing, whatever. I'm personally, outside of a big system change, as I say, if we go back to 17-18 ball and we play with like a traditional right back, etc., then it's a different conversation. But I'm sort of right now operating under the idea of that Pep's still going to try this 3-2 build up with more centre halves at the back. So either this guy Kuto would have to either learn to try to be a centre-back off the ball. I don't know how realistic that is, because I don't know anything about him, really. Probably not likely. Or City will have to change their system. That's why I'm personally more looking for a right-back who can also be a centre-back. That's personally what I'm interested. That's why I was so desperate for us to get Gvardiol.
17-18 wasn't a bad year, Brie.
No, 100%, 100%. But we did have very different players.
No, of course.
So, yeah, again, if we change the system to go to as I say, a more traditional system, whatever you want to call it, then I think absolutely it could work. But until I see that system change happen, I'm going to operate on the assumption that we're going to persist with what we are doing now and what we won, and how we won the treble. That's why I wanted Gvardiol, because what we needed at that point was we needed a centre back who was left-footed, who could also play left back. That's what Gvardiol is. So what I'm looking for is a right-footed Gvardiol, personally.
Akanji?
I love Akanji, and I would have him starting in my City starting 11 if everyone was fit. But I think he is a player you can upgrade on. I love Akanji. I don't think, again, fantastic player, obviously, but
nasty words coming out of your mouth there, obvious.
Fantastic player is what I just said. But if you look again, if you look at the team on paper, I think that is a position where you could get a better option, like a world-class option in. Shout out Akanji, I love him. Again, I would start. I'm going to say it again. I would start Akanji in my start. I'm not having LBs making it out like I'm an Akanji hater. I love this man. I would have him start every single game if I could.
Well, okay. That's a good question then from Brett. Have you got any names?
There is one name.
Oh, one second.
What? No, I'm not going to say the name.
Dave, you gotta build up the suspense. Come on. No. You know how to play this. This is the content game. Let's go.
No, I'm not saying the name because I'm not 100% confident in it. So no, I'm not. No. You can play the music all you want. I mean, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to get clipped up until I'm comfortable in saying the name. So no, definitely not. Stop it. No, dance.
Guys, you don't want to say the name. Okay, fair.
No, because I'm still not 100% confident. I need to do more scouting, and then I'll be happy.
Okay, will you tell me the name off air?
Maybe.
I'll keep it a secret. I won't tell anyone. But
okay.
Big up to Mohammed says, why did Pep change the 4 centre-back system? Well, if you think about it, he's only changed the right-back, really, because obviously Gvardiol's played anyway. He has played Gvardiol left-back instead of Ake, but we know why he's doing that, because he likes Gvardiol holding the ball up the pitch a lot more than Ake. But the thing for this is a good question, because when we come to the deeper ends of the Champions League and we're playing maybe PSG, maybe we're playing Real Madrid or Bayern Munich or whatever, I'm interested to see if he goes back to Ake at left back, bro. Because Ake shuts down so much down that left-hand side. I think he'll stick with Walker, which, by the way, I agree with in against the Vinicius Juniors of this world and Mbappe's. I agree with that. But I am interested to see if he puts Ake back left back and maybe, because I think Gvardiol gets dropped, because I think he plays Diaz and Stones as centre backs, Walker right back, and I'd play Ake left back when it comes to the Champions League against.
Yeah, well, that's what he did against Liverpool, wasn't it? Like he dropped Gvardiol and he started Ake at left back. So he clearly trusts. He clearly in a game, like Mo Salah, who does he want up against Salah? Ake or Gvardiol? The answer can be Ake every single time for Pep. So yeah, I think I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Good question though, Mohammed. Yeah, I mean, listen, I think as well, Pep's been forced into it, because for me, genuinely, I think John Stones is so crucial to this back four. I don't know if you agree with that, but like when he's in the team, 100%. We actually started seeing Kyle Walker playing kind of decent when Stones was back in the team, because he was just playing his normal game. I mean, even though he got the assist to get for the Newcastle game, we again seen him just be a bit weird defensively and poor defensively. For me, and obviously we've had some great news coming out over the weekend as well, that John Stones is now back in first team training, which is honestly, that is such good news, because I just think him coming into the team allows our defense to play the way they want to play. Now, my question is, who's he going to play next to? Because I don't know. What's your thought? Did you think Diaz played well against Newcastle? I thought he played okay, man.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I agree. I think he played okay, but I thought some people was gassing him up a little bit too much for me. I thought he played okay.
I thought it was fine. He did a couple good. There was like a cross which came and he got ahead of it over Isak, which was good. No, yeah, I thought he was fine. He will obviously be a lot more comfortable when Stones comes back. I think it's great to see John Stones. Is getting his flowers. Like I remember in Ruben Dias's first season. When Stones and him were like the two best centre halves in the league, and loads of people were saying, "Oh, Stones is only playing well because of Ruben Dias. That's the only reason why." I think if anything, it's the opposite. I think if like Stones brings a calmness to Diaz and their partnership is what makes them strong. That they are great. What is it? That they're greater than the sum of their parts. So yeah, and it's not a surprise. It's no coincidence that we've suffered so much with clean sheets, but when Stones is on the pitch, coupled with Rodri being on the pitch, I think we've only conceded like one goal, and that was an irrelevant one against Brighton. Like he is crucial. He's crucial to the City side.
Yeah, I mean these are John Stones' numbers here. Yeah, he conceded one there. Yeah, I mean he's so important to the way this team plays. And I agree. I actually agree with you. I think that Diaz plays better with. I think they both play better with them in, but I think Stones can do it kind of with anyone. But I agree with I agree with that point on Ruben Diaz, and obviously we've now heard the news that obviously he dumped his girlfriend, and I see that. I tell you what, Twitter's such a funny app, man. It's such a funny app. You see all like. As soon as all the news come out that he dumped his girlfriend and that she's on Love Island, it's like we finally got our Ruben back, man. I was in tears, man. Honestly, I was absolutely tears. And then he tweeted, didn't he? He tweeted like 20 minutes after the news broke. He tweeted and like a picture of with like some sort of trophy or something. Like, so I don't know, man. I feel that like Diaz. I think Diaz has been okay recently, but I still think he's a long way off his best. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm saying that in a I rate Ruben Diaz as one of the best centre halves in the world.
Yeah.
But at the moment, I think he's a little bit off the pace. So hopefully he can refocus it and come good again. Of course, John Stones coming back is fantastic news. I don't know if he's going to start John Stones against Tottenham on Friday.
Too soon, surely.
Yeah, that for me would be too soon. I'd full send him against Burnley because that Burnley game is obviously a must win, and ideally you kind of want to put some goals past them as well because I was checking the goal difference before, bro. Check this out, man. And obviously, people always get annoyed with me chatting on about goal difference. Right? All the time, chat says, "LB, stop talking about goal difference." Well,
why would you stop talking? 75% of Premier League winners have had the best goal difference in the league. Statistically, if you have the best goal difference in the league, you will win the Premier League. That is an objective fact.
Hold that, chat. Yeah, hold that because everyone always says it's boring, but I do think it's important. And of course, right now Liverpool they've played an extra game. Their goal difference is superior, but we have a game against Burnley at home at the end of the month, which I think obviously first and foremost just target the win, of course. But if you get 2-3-0 up in the first half, which again is no guarantee, I don't know what's going to happen. But I'm just saying if that occasion rises, then you should go for the kill, man. 100% you should go for the kill. Like sometimes. When we get a couple of goals up, sometimes we chill out. I think we got to be looking at this now and thinking, okay, potentially goal difference could be where the title is won and lost. We need to cut because I tell you something, guys, you can't do it in the last couple of games. It don't work, man. You remember when Pat the Istanbul?
Yeah,
doesn't work, man. You know what I mean? You can't do that when it's needed. So these are the type of games. So yeah, I don't think John Stones will play against Spurs. I'll bring him back for the Burnley game, which I think is on the 31st. Yeah, it's a Wednesday night, isn't it? So you've got a week and 2 days. Do you think that's a little bit too soon, actually?
Maybe, yeah. Well, maybe just don't start him. Maybe you can bring, as we did with De Bruyne against Newcastle.
True.
Maybe bring him on with 20 to 30 minutes to go, depending on the state of play. If it's like we're up against, if for some reason we're up against a wall and our defenders have to do loads of running and defending, maybe not ideal. But assuming we're in a good position by that point. Then he's going to need some minutes to get his fitness back.
That's our fixtures.
Yeah.
So
we're going to need him fit for this, running in February onwards. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, I might be with you on that one. I might not start him against Burnley. Give him 20 minutes. Brentford away, man. That's going to be a tough game with Tony, mate. You know what I mean? They obviously got the win. They're just like buzzing now. They've been in such dead form for ages. He comes back and they win the first game.
We've got to play them twice.
Yeah, I know exactly. Where would you start him here? Which would be your game where you say that's where I'm starting him in that game?
I think it'd be a bit poetic to start him against Everton because that's the game he got injured in. But I mean, look, if the medical staff say he's fit for Brentford, and he says he's fit for Brentford, and it's a 100% green light, A-OK, then there's no reason to not start him against Brentford. Give him some valuable minutes against Burnley, see how he goes on. If the medical staff go, yeah, then do that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I guess it just depends on how much you trust the team. Right, guys, we're going to wrap it up, man. Big up to everyone that joined today's stream. Big up to Zaid for the redirect earlier on. Hopefully, you guys have all smashed the like button. We've got over 400 people in here we're 1 like away from 215 likes, man. So please hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Nobbins is going live with Judge Mo right now. So this is going to redirect you to Judge Mo to see what them guys are chatting about. Nobbins, you got any videos for us, Bray?
Well, if you want to learn more about whether Foden and De Bruyne can play midfield, if you want to know more about De Bruyne's new position and role, which could win Man City the Premier League, those are my most recent videos, which have done very well. Thank you guys for the support on those vids. Shout out LB for always retweeting and supporting me as well. And yeah,
this is your latest one. Why De Bruyne's new position wins Man City the league?
Controversial. Look at that. He's only 60% of the way through. He's denied me.
No, I've watched it all, man.
100% of the watch time. This fraudulent fraud.
I've watched it all, bro. I don't know what YouTube's playing here. Yeah, I'm not gonna. Wow, 33k on this one, guys. Can De Bruyne and Foden play in midfield? Go and check that one out, guys. I'm gonna wrap it up. Big up to everyone in the building. Big up to the super chatters today. Big up to Dave Sull, German Chicken Wing, and Mohammed A. Nobbins is live now with Judge Mo. I'm live with Savo on Football Heritage TV, 3:30, live with Terry at 6 o'clock, and then live with Football 12 Man podcast at 8 p.m. So a lot of stuff to do. Guys, smash a like, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in Judge Mo's stream. See you later.